So I'm going to do a quick video just to talk about some group reads or buddy reads that I'm planning to do in 2024. I think just through May or through June. I don't have the whole year lined up. This is just what I'm remembering. I might not be remembering everything, but I happen to have a stack of books here, stuff I collected for it. And so I thought I'd just go through them really quickly. So I don't think anything's happening in January except, well, two things are happening in January. Actually, I'm wrong. I'm still going to be in the Nancy Drew group that Mitzi at Mitzi Reads and Writes started, and they postponed The Mystery of the Lilac Inn. I started to read it in January. I got to page 21, but then they decided people were too busy and they had gotten behind, so we're doing this in January. So I'm going to read this in January. And then Sean D. Standfast is starting up his Faded Pages book club. And the book that we're going to read, I just got it for $2.99 on my Kindle, is Frost in May by Antonia White. And this was written, I think, in 1930 something, 33, something like that. And it's about a girl. It's autobiographical. I can't say the word. Anyway, it's like a memoir, semi-memoir of her time growing up in a convent school. So there might be a little bit of Catholic bashing or nun bashing going on. I don't know. Anyway, it's kind of a modern classic, I think. So I'm looking forward to reading that. So that's January. And I'm reading that with Sean Standfast's group and this with the Nancy Drew group. And then, do I have anything for February? Well, okay, I'm going to be in another Lenten read-along group that Christy Lewis at Dostoevsky in Space started. She started it last year, I believe, or maybe she did it the year before, but I was involved in it last year as well. And we're going to read, well, Lent starts February 14th, Valentine's Day. And we're going to read The Long Loneliness by Dorothy Day. So looking forward to this. Lent is 40 days, not including the Sundays. And we're going to read this. I think she was a communist back in the 1920s, and then she had a conversion experience, and she's the woman who started the Catholic worker movement. So there are worker houses in various cities that help the poor. And she was a great peace activist as well. So, and I think she's servant of God or something. She's on the path to sainthood. A lot of people really loved her. And my grandfather knew her. And I just finished reading that book, Seven Story Mountain by Thomas Merton. Did he mention her? No, he mentioned somebody else. He mentioned a different woman. Oh, whose name suddenly flew out of my head. But anyway, I think that Thomas Merton got to hear about Dorothy Day and was an admirer of her. I think it even says here, she became an inspiration to such activists as Thomas Merton. Yeah. So anyway, so I'm looking forward to reading that with the group. And then, what's next? And then I think in March, again with Christy Lewis, and we were just going to buddy read it, but then she knew of some other people who are interested in reading as well. So it's going to be me, or I should say, it's going to be Christy, myself, and maybe some other people. But we're going to read Notes from the Underground by Dostoevsky. And I just got this from Thrift Books, and it looks like there's one short, I don't know, piece. It only goes to page 40. That's called The Underground. And then it looks like it has a part 2, and it says Concerning the Wet Snow. And that even seems to be even longer. So I'm guessing that's part of Notes from the Underground. It's not quite clear to me. But then the second book in this, which we're not scheduled to read, is The Gambler. And so that's definitely distinct from it. But I think maybe the first half is what we're going to read. Notes from the Underground. Yeah. And it's broken into 2 parts with 2 different titles, I think. anyway, so I'm looking forward to that because I really want to read more Dostoevsky this coming year. So that's in March. Then I think in April, and Kelly, if you are watching this and I got it wrong, because I know I asked you once and then I can't remember what you said, and I wrote it down somewhere, but I don't know where. I think in April, I'm doing a buddy read with Kelly at Books I'm Not Reading, and I think we're reading In This House of Breed. If it's in March, I think she said she wasn't available before March, so I don't know. But anyway, I'm planning this spring to read In This House of Breed with Kelly from Books I'm Not Reading. So I'm really looking forward to that. I read this a long time ago when I was like a late teen or maybe in my early 20s. I hardly remember anything about it, but I'm really interested in Rumer Godden. Everything I've read by her I've liked, and so I want to refamiliarize myself with this and start reading more of her works. And then in May, I think I'm doing a read-along with Linda Jo Martin and Mark at Book Time with Elvis. We are going to read the letters of Vincent van Gogh. So those are all the buddy reads or like group reads that I know about now. I know there's a couple of events, like in February, they might have Febregency again. I'm not sure if I'm going to participate this year. I did it up big last year, but I don't know if I can this year. And I always like to do it's just a little like 4-day read along about the Little House books, or Laura Ingalls Wilder, because her birthday was February 7th, I think, and then she died February 10th, many years later. And so I think it always sneaks up on me, but I always try to participate. By always, I mean in the past couple of years. So that is put out by, or that is hosted by Lizzie Fay Loves Books. And so I'm hoping to do that in February, even if I might not do the Febregency thing. And then there's, in March, I also want to read middle grade books. I'm going to focus on middle grade stuff this year. I think that's it. And so right now I am currently reading. I started my George Eliot earlier than usual. I always try to read a George Eliot in January, but I finished up my other book and I need something to read, so I'm reading Daniel Deronda. Very interesting book. I don't like the characters so much. It's Gwendolyn and Grandcourt, and they're not very likable people. And we've only met Daniel very, very briefly at the very beginning, and then we went off. So I'm assuming he comes back into the picture. But as usual, I love George Eliot's writing, and I don't find her that hard to read. I am reading it on the Kindle, really, but I went out and got a real book because I couldn't tell where I was, or I didn't know how big it was. I mean, it is a chunker. It's like over 800 pages, 840 pages or something. But I had already gotten that far. Like, I had no sense of how far I was into the book. I just couldn't grasp it. I need the physical book. So I like having the physical book too, because I like going back and forth. So anyway, so Daniel Deronda, I started that. And then, I got all these Agatha Christie Miss Marple books, and I've started reading The Murder at the Vicarage, and so I'm just shy of being halfway through with that. So I'm going to do another video about wrapping up December, and maybe another video that's sort of a retrospective. I don't know. I only have a few minutes to make these videos, so I'm just going to do short, sweet ones. And we'll see how that goes. All right, so I hope you are doing well. Happy New Year. I'm making this on New Year's Eve. I guess I'll put it up right away. Anyway, so Happy New Year's, and I hope everything is going well, and I hope you had a wonderful Christmas, and I hope that 2024 is a wonderful reading year for you. And I will talk to you later. Bye.